first Saturday of the Spring-Summer 2021 meet at Belmont Park is here, and I have a late pick 5 on handicap for you, as well as one of my favorite bets on the NYRA circuit, the Grand Slam. The Grand Slam will be held on races 5 through 8 today, and nestled in between both is the $100,000 added elusive quality at 7 furlongs on the Widener. 8 are scheduled in that one, and it goes off as race number 8. So let's get to it next on Thoroughbred Ticket.
Welcome to Thoroughbred Ticket. We're playing the exotics like trifectas, superfectas. The pick 3, 4, 5, and 6 will become that much easier. Rushing to handicap multiple races? Well, your host will save you a bundle of time. And now here he is, the self-proclaimed expert handicapper, Mr. Kenneth Moultrie.
Hello and welcome to Thoroughbred Ticket, and I'm your host, Kenneth Moultrie. And as I said in my intro, I have a late pick 5 for you, as well as the Grand Slam at Belmont Park. But before I get started, I kindly ask that you like, subscribe, comment, and share this and any other podcast I produce with your race fans and your social media fans. So the races I will be giving to you today will include the Grand Slam. It's the late pick 5 races of 5 through 10. And we have some scratches, some jockey changes. I'll go over those as I get to those particular races. As well as we're going to start fast and firm today at Belmont Park. The inner turf course rails are set at 18 feet and the Widener is at 9 feet. So in the sequence that I'm going to give to you, there is one race on the Widener, at least one race, and there's one race on the inner. So in race 5, it's a mile and a 16th on the main track. It's claiming 16,000 per 42,000. Originally, there were 10 scheduled. The scratch of number 7, Allured, now has the field at 9. And as I said, they're going a mile and a 16th. I have 3 horses I want to give to you. But I also may mention a couple of other horses that may be well fancied, well bet, just to let you know why I do not like them and why I'm not going to include them in my sequence. Let's start off with the number 2, Kumar, for Rudy Rod and Luis Cardenas. Now, this horse is 2 for 2. It's a 5-year-old horse. He's 2 for 2 at Belmont. Had a couple of subpar races, the last 2, dropping from $25,000 and stopping from $40,000 the last couple of races. Got a good post position, has some speed. Lost to a horse that came back and won last time, Air Attack. So he comes out a productive race, shortening up from a mile and an 1/8 to a mile and a 16th. And I think this 5-year-old horse by Into Mischief will get a good trip. He'll get forwardly placed early, and I think he'll be a factor. So that's the number 2 horse, Kumar, as well as the number 3 horse, Hammering a Mare. Eric Consell will ride this horse for Wayne Potts, who just claimed this horse. And this horse also has 2 wins on Belmont surface, 2 for 7 at the distance. Pretty popular claim the last 2. Looking for 3 in a row. It's going to tote 125 as most horses in this particular race do. Wayne Potts is 27% off the claim. And this 7-year-old gelding is coming off not only a win, but really in the slop. I normally don't like to come back and play horses who've won on off track, especially if they're catching a fast track today. But he's very, very sharp. The claim suggests he's very, very sharp. Eric Consell coming off a big meeting at the recently concluded Aqueduct meet. And so he's very confident right now, and I look for Hammering a Mare to be in the mix in race 5. Number 10, I Love Jackson. Kendrick Carmouche. This horse is claimed last time by Jeffrey Englehart. Kendrick winds up here. This gelding looks also coming out the same race. He was the 9-5 favorite over Hammering a Mare last time. Now catches a fast track. Kendrick will be able to watch the action. I don't expect this particular gelding to be on the lead. I think, like I said, Kendrick will watch from the outside post, and I think that he'll get a good trip coming around, a couple of long shots to his inside in King of American and Ektabar. We have a jockey change in this race. Number 5, Runabout, will be written by Javier Castellano. Junior Alvarado looks to be off all his mounts today, and we do have some other jockey changes that Junior were scheduled on coming up later, and I'll get to that. So to recap, in today's 5th race, the opener, I like the 2-horse Kumar, the 3-horse Hammering Amir, and the 10-horse I Love Jackson. So in that sequence as well, the Grand Slam, I will use 3 horses in the Grand Slam, the same 3 horses, the 2 Kumar, the 3 I Love Amir, and the 10-horse I Love Jackson. In race 6, we're going 1 mile and a 16th on the Widener. We have now down to a field of 11 with the scratch of the 12 Iron Giant. Number 6, Newsworthy, will be written by Jersey Joe Bravo, taking over for Junior Alvarado. I like 3 horses in this race, 2 horses for the Grand Slam. So in that particular, philosophy that I have, I usually like to play multiple horses in the Grand Slam in case both of them hit the board. I can win I can cash multiple times with that. So in the Grand Slam, I'm going to use the 6 Newsworthy and the 7 Caveat Emptor. I'll get to a little more detail about those 2 horses, as well as I'm going to use them in my pick 5. So, like I say, let's start off with the 6-horse Newsworthy. Now it will be written by Joe Bravo. This gelding came out of a race from Tampa at a flat mile, where he finished second at kind of long odds, 13-1. Got a nice 81 buyer. That buyer towers over pretty much every horse in this particular race. Bill Mott trains, had his main man Junior scheduled, but Joe Bravo, we all know, is a very, very capable turf rider. So I don't think you're losing a whole lot. And I think Bill Mott put on a rider on here exactly who he wanted to, who was actually available. Newsworthy breaks well. It's going to be up and near the pace. And I look for this gelding to be on top, this gelding by Tappet, to be on top when the wire comes up. Number 7, Caveat Emptor, is another horse I like here, taking the blinkers off. Trevor McCarthy will take over here. This horse also comes from Tampa, where this gelding was the beaten favorite at 6-5, going 1 mile and a 16th. Same distance today. He's going to be right there in the thick of things. I think he's going to be tracking Newsworthy. I think those two will be close to being in front, turning for home. I think the other horses in this field will have trouble really keeping up. I really like the fact that Caveat Emptor is taking blinkers off. Might have him a little further off the pace than he was at Tampa, and that's just fine. That's fine with me, because there's other horses in the race, like the 8-horse Shaftberry, who's going to be close to the lead. So if Caveat Emptor can sit back with the blinkers off today, I think he'll make a good run too, to try to come up there with Newsworthy and the 8 Shaftberry. So the 2 horses I like in here in the race 6 is Caveat Emptor, the 7, and the 6-horse Newsworthy. This race is 1 mile and a 16th on the turf, and it's a straight maiden affair, purse $90,000. I also like the number 11 horse, Canby Lion. So there was another horse I did like here. I like the fact that Canby Lion is adding blinkers for Suge McGahee. Jose Ortiz will ride back here. Jose rode him the first 2 times. This is the 3rd start for this colt by Medagliadoro. And he's been very sluggish pretty much out the gate. The last couple of times we're at Gulfstream Park down in Florida. Really well bet last time in an 11-horse field at 2-1. So the blinkers, I think Suge putting the blinkers on him, I think that it'll put him a little more closer earlier in the running of the race, probably toward the middle of the pack. So I think this horse is going to be very, very dangerous here. Gonna, it comes home pretty good. I just hope that maybe using a little bit more speed early might take away his closing late kick, might take a little starch out of that. But I would rather see this horse a little closer than he was in those 2 starts at Gulfstream Park. So to recap, the number 6 horse, Newsworthy, the number 7 horse, Caveat Emptor, and the number 11 horse, Canby Island, and that's the pick 5. As far as the Grand Slam, I'm just going to use the 6 horse, Newsworthy, and the 7 horse, Caveat Emptor. Race number 7 is at 7 furlongs on the main. It's optional claiming, $100,000, purse $96,000. 6 are going to run with the defection of the 5 horse, War Toxin, who was scratched early this morning. Manny Franco will take over for Junior Alvarado on the number 4 horse, Super Stonehenge. So, like I said, 6 go here. I like 2 horses here. 2 horses here for the Grand Slam, and the same 2 horses for the pick 5. The number 2 horse, American Power, is coming off 4 straight wins. Kendrick Carmouche will stick with this horse by Power Broker. Speed all over. You know how Kendrick is very, very good out the gate. This horse is going to be on a nice lead out the gate from the 2 hole. And Kendrick will be able to have this horse relax. 3-1 on the morning line. I expect this horse to probably go off at favorite, depending on how the track is playing earlier. So we like this horse here, American Power. Rob Atras has this 6-year-old horse in fine form. And this horse is 2 for 2 this year. Has 2 wins on the Belmont surface. So I look for this horse to be in front, actually, as the horses cross the wire in the 7th race today at Belmont Park. I also like the number 4 horse, Super Stonehenge, coming out of the Grade 1 Carter at Aqueduct at this same distance. Tyler Gaffleone had this gelding that particular day. Got a 97 buyer out of it. There was 5 runners in that race. I'm kind of leery about horses coming out of real small fields. The races are not run, kind of the same as you have an 8, 9, or 10 horse field. However, it is the best race. This gelding does have a nice Belmont work. I'm very, very fond of works on the track that they're racing on, in between their last start and the start they're making on this particular day. So a 48 breezing, very, very good to set up. Super Stonehead should be right there in the mix when they cross the wire. The 1 horse looking at bikinis is 2 for 2 at Belmont. I'm looking at this horse by looking at Lucky. Hasn't been seen since Churchill, November 27th. Beaten favorite the last 2. That's kind of a red flag for me. Has the rail, has a lot going against him. Does have a good 48 work since the last race. I'm looking at this race being kind of like a look-in, a prep, so to say. So, I'm thinking Chad Brown is looking just for a good run, I think, from this particular horse. I think that there's bigger fish to fry. This horse actually raced in the Travers 2 years ago in the Code of Honor race. And like I said, I think there's just bigger fish for this Kentucky-bred horse by looking at Lucky to fry later. So I think the now horse is American Power, or the now horses are American Power and Super Stonehenge in race 7 at Belmont Park. Race 8, 7 furlongs on the Widener. It is the feature, the $100,000 added Elusive Quality, purse $100,000 for 4-year-olds and up. No scratches so far. Hopefully it'll stay that way. 8 are scheduled and 8 should run. 1 jockey change. Casa Creed, number 3 horse, will be ridden by Joe Bravo. I like 2 in here. I'll go over a couple of other horses since this is the stake.